As 2019 came to a close, there was a lot of talk about what the new decade would hold for the future. A new year filled with new possibilities and new ideas. The last thing anyone expected was a global pandemic. COVID-19 was discovered in December 2019 in Wuhan, China, the first death reported in January. Wuhan was closed off in order to stop the spread of the virus, but people traveling from China unknowingly carried it with them. By the end of January, the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus as a global health emergency, as many other countries, including the US, now had confirmed cases of COVID-19. Some places, like Italy and New York, had it worse than others, and by March 13th, President Trump declared this pandemic as a national emergency, putting a ban on travel in or out of the US. Schools were shut down, places of worship closed, concerts and sporting events were canceled, and only essential places, such as grocery stores and pharmacies, were allowed to stay open. People all over the world were told to stay home and practice social distancing. By April, the US had the highest number of cases. There are 5.54 million confirmed cases worldwide as of May 25th. The coronavirus has flu-like symptoms such as coughing, shortness of breath, fevers, etc., and is most dangerous for those with underlying health conditions and the elderly. In order to avoid catching the virus, social distancing measures are taken, such as wearing a mask and gloves, staying 6 feet away from other people, and only going out if absolutely necessary. In the time that we have been on lockdown, over 30 million Americans have lost their job, the highest unemployment rate since the 1930s. Families all over the US are struggling to afford basic needs such as food. To help solve this issue, a stimulus check of $1,200 was provided by the government to those who qualified for it. However, this only slightly helps cover expenses. There are still proposals for future stimulus checks for small businesses and families who need financial support during this crisis. Until a vaccine is discovered and proven to be effective, we cannot be completely free from the restrictions COVID-19 has put in place. Currently, we don't have enough kits in the US for everyone to be tested. Therefore, we don't know how many people have the virus, as there are many infected that show no symptoms. Because there isn't a vaccine yet, the only way to ensure safety is to practice social distancing, especially if you have underlying health conditions. For California specifically, there are 4 stages to reopening the state. Stage 1 was in March, when schools, stores, and churches closed down. Stage 2, the one we are currently in, is to start opening up lower-risk places such as offices and retail services. Stage 3 will be the point where higher-risk workplaces such as recreational venues can reopen. Lastly, Stage 4 of reopening California is when activities that hold large crowds such as sporting events and concerts can resume. The coronavirus has had an historical impact on the world and most definitely will affect the future of our education and the way we operate. Even when places begin to reopen, people probably won't feel safe in a large crowd for at least a couple years. Traveling outside of the US may not be allowed for another year or 2, and when school reopens, desks may be farther apart. It's a possibility that social distancing might just become a normal way of life. Each time I put on a mask, it becomes more normal. Even when I'm watching TV and there's a scene with a large crowd, it feels slightly wrong. To be honest, I don't think things will ever go back to the way they were. I mean, yeah, at some point, people will be able to sing their hearts out in a mosh pit at a Taylor Swift concert again, but some changes may stay. The other day, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey announced that his workers can work from home for the rest of their lives if they choose, which is a huge step in the right direction for the future. And for general health and hygiene, it's just nice that we don't have to touch keypads at the grocery store anymore. This pandemic has brought people closer to each other. This is a great time to reach out to loved ones, learn new things, and take care of your mental and physical health. So, 2020, the year of the coronavirus pandemic. There have been a lot of negatives, and we're only halfway through the year. But one thing to remember is that we're all in this together, and there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Whether that light is a vaccine or a lifetime of social distancing, we'll make it through. So stay home, stay healthy, and stay safe.